So the one who knows the answer, please raise your hand. The third question I speak students, a sphere of mass small m traveling with a speed v collides directly. This is slightly on an easier side. Collides directly with a stationary sphere B. If A is brought to rest and B is given a speed v, find A the mass of B. So now you have to get the relation, the mass in terms of velocity, students. Okay, you need to get the mass in terms of A and B, students, and the coefficient of restitution between A and B. So Ani's got the answer, and she's got the coefficient of restitution also. Yes, Suhani.
So should I tell?
Yeah, you got.
So it is given that it is the head-on collision. So sphere A of mass m and sphere B का mass हमें ढूंढना है. So initial speed of A is small v and its final speed is 0. And initial speed of B is 0 and final speed is capital V. So we conserve momentum and then we'll get m2.
Absolutely correct. Students, if I say mass, now see a sphere of mass small m traveling with the speed v. Students, mass A is of small m traveling with the speed v. Students, that's your initial velocity is given to you. Collides directly. So it's a head-on collision with a stationary sphere B. The B is stationary. Students, initial velocity of sphere is B. If A is brought to rest and B is given a speed v, since if A, the final velocity of A after collision, this is after collision. After collision, if the final velocity of A is 0, we consider. Okay, then find the mass of B, students. You need to find out the mass of B. So now if you look into it, how do you go about with the mass, students, in this case? So using your law of conservation of linear momentum, students, it's M1, this is M1 U1 plus M2 U2. This is 0 is equal to M1 V1, that is 0 plus M2 V2 for the other one, students, and that is V. I need to find out the mass of the second body, students. So now when you look into it, what exactly the answer for the mass we consider is, students? The mass of the body will be in terms of what? For the second one will be what? Swani, have you written small v in the numerator or bigger one?
Small v in the numerator.
Okay. So in this case, m into small v is equal to m dash capital V. So what exactly m dash is equal to m into small v by capital V. So is it clear to all of you all?
Yes, sir.
And what about the second part they're trying to find out, students? What exactly the second part they're telling you to find out? Coefficient of restitution, students. Now, how do you go about the coefficient of restitution in this case? So what do you do for coefficient of restitution, students?
So coefficient of restitution is v final after collision. What is the relative velocity and
Who's
upon
shouting, Mama, loud and clear? So much of shouting going on Sundays.
actually, sir, I'm out to my sister's place now.
Okay, fine. Coefficient of restitution is, can you give me the definition of coefficient of restitution? E is a
It is the
ratio.
ratio of relative velocity of the two bodies after collision upon relative velocity of the body before collision.
So this is for the approaching, and the other one we consider for receding. So it's relative. Now see students, just simply put the values v2 minus v1 upon क्या है u1 minus u2. v2 वहां पे क्या है सर, v2 is capital V minus v1 क्या है 0 है. Please make your capital V and small v very distinct students. ये दोनों variables को बहुत properly लिखना. What is u1? Sir, u1 is small v and what is u2? 0. So what's the coefficient of restitution will be equal to capital V upon small v. Okay, that's your answer for the third one. Please go ahead to the fifth one. Students, this is question clear to all of y'all? Janani, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Khyati?
Yes, sir.
Om, Parthvi?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Parthvi, are you there? Knock, knock. Parthvi, she's gone. Parthvi, she's not there. Parthvi left. Soumya, what about you? Soumya, are you back? Okay, great. Shreyash? Shona, Shreyash, what about you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Udit, Gauri, Sparsh, Tisha. Where's Sanjana? Sanjana is not there, or what?
I'm there, sir.
Okay, fine. Yana, what about you, Yana? Yana, give me the answer for the fifth one.
I'm still solving.
No, Suhani. Suhani, you posted the answer for the fifth one, or what?
Yes, sir.
No, my dear. थोड़ा ध्यान से करो. It's an easy question. It's purely onto vectors. Just read the question carefully. Draw an appropriate diagram. You'll be able to catch it. Yes, fifth one. Parthiv, when I asked you, did you get it? You went out of the meeting only.
Sir, I didn't went out. The network went out. Sir, I missed the last part even.
Oh. So, did you get it? The last part was coefficient of restitution wala tha. That you didn't get it?
Yes, sir. That's capital V upon small v.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. Sanjana, even you got the same answer what Suhani got it. No, Sneha also got the same answer what Suhani got it. Anybody else? Sneha, can you tell me? What did you do?
Sir, I used the formula for the coefficient of restitution as EV2 minus V1 divided by U2 minus U1 minus U2. So
Absolutely.
I took the, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's proper. It's correct. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, sir, I took the wall to be at rest. So the wall's initial and final velocity is 0. So
Okay,
0 minus, yes,
wait. You said it as the coefficient of restitution. Here comes Janani. Janani has given a correct answer. Okay, now the coefficient of restitution, you said it will be equal to its V2 minus V1 upon U1 minus U2. So according to you, what exactly exactly V2 will be the final velocity after collision of which is it for the wall? Now, students, is Sneha, is it for wall?
So I took it for the wall. I took V1 and U1 for the wall.
V1 for the wall, or it will be V2 for the wall?
Sorry, V1 and U1 for the ball.
Acha, V1 is for the ball. Okay. This is also for the ball. Absolutely correct. This will be for the wall, and this
Yes.
is for the wall. Absolutely correct. But now, can you tell me what is the direction what you have picked up in terms of, because these are all velocity vectors. I'm getting it. These are all relative velocities. Students, if in case if you happen to consider this is in terms of vector notations, so it's V2 minus V1 upon U1 minus E2. So what is the direction you're going to consider for this? The direction of the ball. Is it along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis? Which axis you have tried to consider the velocity of the ball? I'm speaking about for the ball.
The ball is
Yeah.
given in the form of I cap and J cap, no?
Yes.
Absolutely correct. तो कौन सा vector change होगा, कौन सा direction change होगा? Will the velocity along y-axis will change, or the velocity along x-axis will change
The
after
velocity
hitting?
along x-axis will change.
Absolutely correct. Y-axis change ही नहीं होगा, तो x-axis के हिसाब से change होगा ना. तो ये तुम्हारा किसके हिसाब से आएगा? X के हिसाब से तुम्हें लेना है, यानी ये भी I कैप में लेना स्टूडेंट्स, और ये भी I कैप में लेना है. और वॉल तो रेस्ट पे रहेगा क्योंकि इट्स अ रिजिड ऑब्जेक्ट. Now think over it, Suhani and Sneha. Please, rest of you all, please try it out. Janani has got the answer. Sanjana has got the answer now. Suhani and Sneha, both of you all rethink onto it. That is proper. Your x-axis is proper. What about the y-axis? Yes, Suhani. Correct. Sneha, can you answer now, Sneha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your coefficient of restitution will be more precisely considered with respect to x-axis or y-axis. And why? What's the reason?
So it will be because of the x-axis.
Absolutely correct. It will be with respect to x-axis. What's the reason? Why not with respect to y-axis?
So because the velocity is changing along the x-axis, there is no change in velocity along the y-axis.
Very good. That means now if you want to go for the diagram, the ball is over here, students, okay? And this is the rigid wall. Think as if this is a rigid wall. Since when I speak about for the ball has initial velocity. What is the initial velocity of the wall? 0. After collision, what exactly the final velocity of the wall is still 0. The wall is always at rest, student. The wall is always at rest. Now, when they said it that the ball is hitting, they made it very clear. A smooth sphere is moving on a horizontal surface with a velocity of 2i plus 2j. Since if I say 2i, that means it's along positive x-axis, 2j. So it's moving 2i and 2j. So where is the resultant of these two vectors will act in this direction, students? ये होगा resultant of the two vectors. That means now when you look into it, this becomes the direction of motion of the sphere. Students, ये 2i or 2j, agreed? So ये हुआ direction of motion. Now suppose if I say if the collisions are perfectly elastic, we consider, so it will hit and it will reflect back. After collision, what happens? It will change its direction. Okay, now Sneha, can you tell me how do you go about from here onwards?
Yes, sir. So, like as you have drawn the diagram, it clearly shows that the velocity along the x-axis would be along the negative x direction, and the velocity along the y-axis would remain plus 2j cap. And
Okay.
so E is equal to half. So half is equal to V2, which is equal to 0, minus V, velocity along the x-axis, divided by U1, which would be 2I cap minus 0. So sir, I got this as V is equal to minus 1I cap, and the total resultant velocity would be minus I cap plus 2j cap.
Absolutely correct. Since the ball is hitting over here, it hits a rigid wall. The wall is always at rest. It will not move. So what happens to the sphere? The sphere will hit and will get deflected back with the same angle we consider. Now when the ball is over here, the direction of motion of the ball is over here. ये है इसका actual direction. So now अगर इसको मैं resolve करता हूँ into two components, so I'm getting vertical and the horizontal. The vertical component, so the vertical component of the sphere remains constant. So what is changing? So it's क्या change क्या हो रहा है? The horizontal component of it. Yes. Yes, Sanjana, you want to say something?
Sir, no, I was answering.
Okay, bolo answer bolo. What is how do you find out the horizontal component now? How do you find the horizontal component? The final velocity of the body after collision. That means I need to find out V1. Is it? So what do you do? Sanjana, answer. Sanjana, are you there? Okay, students. The ball after hitting, it deviates, and this is the direction of motion, students. So मैंने इसको resolve किया दो components में, along y and x. Look at the y component, students. The direction of y component does not change. It's 2j itself only. ये भी 2j है, students, and this also will be 2j. But what is changing, students? The direction along the x-axis. That means the final velocity of the sphere is changing along x-axis. ये change हो रहा है. Students, do take care. What exactly the initial velocity along x-axis is? These u1. Students, ये u1 है. Please pay attention. I'm putting the variables. ये u1 है. ये जब hit होगा तो deflect हो रहा है. तो now इसी को अगर मैं final देखता हूं तो मेरा final v1 होगा यहाँ पे. अभी ये देखो y axis की तरफ 2j तो सेम ही होगा. It's no change into it. यानी जो तुम्हारा coefficient of restitution का फॉर्मूला हम लिखेंगे वो कौन से एक्सिस के हिसाब से होगा? तो बोलेंगे सर y एक्सिस का फाइनल वेलोसिटी देखो ना, इसका फाइनल वेलोसिटी बिफोर कोलिशन क्या था? 2j, आफ्टर कोलिशन 2j. along y axis, wall का it is a rigid wall, always at rest. So what is the initial velocity of the wall? 0. After collision, wall is 0. And students, e coefficient variation will not hold true for y axis. I have to go for which axis? X axis. What is the formula for coefficient of restitution? You know it's v2 minus v1 upon u1 minus u2. What is v2 be considered? It's for the wall. I'll take it as 0. How much is the coefficient of restitution they've given to you is? So E is equal to half दिया हुआ है. Minus, what is V1 is given to me? So V1 is the velocity of the ball along x-axis after hitting the wall. So can I say this is minus V1 I'll consider? And that's for the ball we consider. And this is the final velocity, students. You have final velocity of the ball along x-axis or of the sphere along x-axis upon, what is U1? What is U1? So it's given as 2i. Is it plus 2i? Students, is your U1 as plus 2i? Yes. Why? Because it's along positive x-axis. It's plus 2i. What about U2? So U2 is 0. Now, students, can you solve and get the answer for the final velocity of the sphere along x-axis? Yes. So what exactly V1 bar I'll get it as? So ये 2i ऊपर चला जाएगा. तो 2i upon 2. Negative sign यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. तो आंसर क्या होगा? Minus I. So now we have got this as minus I. This is 2j. So what is the resultant velocity? The resultant final velocity of the ball will be minus I plus 2j. Is this clear, students? Students, is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, okay, Sanjana. No, you already have answered, Sanjana. Come on, the rest of the students, are you getting it? Sparsh, did you get it, Sparsh? Sparsh, are you there? Udit? Guys, where are y'all? Home? Shreyash? It seems Yana is also not there.
Sir, I'm there.
So did you understand? Reply.
Yes.
Okay. Sixth one, students, just go ahead with the sixth question now. It's a slightly better question. Given to you that is a ball is projected from the ground at some angle with a horizontal. Coefficient of resolution between the ball and the ground is E. That A, B, C be the ratio of the time of flight, horizontal range, and maximum height in two successive paths. Students, the first successive path is the first parabolic path which you see it, and the second successive path they've shown it as two. Okay, the path parabolic, and ABC represents time of flight, capital T, range, capital R, and maximum height. Students, they're telling you to find out the ratio of T, R, H in terms of small e. Now, students, just go on to your instincts. Thoda sa dhyan se and go on to your basic students. Just first put down the formulas of time period, range, and I'll give you the hint students and height, maximum height. Okay. And then you think about it, okay, when collision takes place, students, okay, is there any change in the velocity of the body along x-axis? But do we have a change in the velocity along y-axis? That is more important to be considered. So what part of the velocity will take it into consideration for coefficient of restitution? Students, coefficient of restitution is, again, I'm repeating, it's a ratio of relative change in velocities of the two bodies after collision to the relative velocities of the same two bodies approaching before collision. तो यहाँ पे तुम्हारे दो बॉडीज कौन से होनी चाहिए वो तुम्हें डिटेक्ट करने की जरूरत है. एक तो होगा तुम्हारा ऑब्जेक्ट जो पैराबोलिक पाथ जा रहा है और दूसरा होगा तुम्हारा ग्राउंड. प्लीज पे अटेंशन स्टूडेंट्स. वन इज ग्राउंड and the other one object which is projected. So you have now these two objects, students. You need to go for the velocities of those. Do take care while solving it. That's the hint I'm giving it to you. Further, at students, whenever we have learned it in projectile motion, what exactly you have come across? In projectile motion, students, the velocity along y-axis changes at each instance, students, we consider, but the velocity along x-axis remains constant. Acceleration on x-axis is 0, and acceleration along y-axis is minus g. You need to get the relation of each of them, students, and these are all in terms of magnitude. Can you give me the formula for students? Time of flight. What is the formula for time of flight, students?
2u
U
sine
sin
theta upon
theta
g.
by G.
Yes, you have to use that one formula. Time of flight will be equal to what? 2u sine theta by g. Okay, what exactly the range of formula will be equal to?
U square
U
sine
square
2
sin
theta
2
by
theta
G.
by G.
Yes. And what is the formula for maximum height, students?
U square
U
sine square
square
theta
sin
by
square
2g.
theta by 2G.
Absolutely correct. बस तुम्हें अभी ये रिलेशन लेना है कौन सा फर्स्ट केस और सेकंड केस के लिए फर्स्ट केस this is for the first case and this is for the second case. Nothing can get the answer accordingly, students. One who finishes, please raise your hand, students. So now what have you written? Hope you have got the question, students.
Sir,
Yes.
I have not got the answer. I have a doubt.
हाँ बोलो.
So that the time of flight range and maximum height that is given A, B, and C, that is for both the part together or like how it is?
No, that means कि students पूछा क्या है तुम्हें अगर तुम ध्यान से read करोगे they are telling you to find out the ratio of the time, ratio of the range and the ratio of height of the two cases in terms of coefficient of restitution. ये पूछा है. यानी students you're going to find out time of flight का expression in the first case. Are you getting it? Range in the first case and your height in the first case. Then you're going to find out time for flight for the second case because for the second case it's hitting the surface ना. तो यहाँ पे तुम्हारा coefficient of restitution होगा. यहाँ पे तो नहीं होगा. Agreed? तो तुम्हारे यहाँ पे coefficient of restitution होगा, students. So now I need to find out T2. I need to find out R2. I need to find out H2. And then I want a ratio of A is to B is to C. This is the first case and second case. Means I want to find out T1 by T2. Agreed? Is to R1 by R2. And this is H1 by H2. No, I want to find the value of ABC. So it's not the ratio. I want to find out ABC in terms of coefficient of restitution. Hope the question is now clear to all of you all. Is this a question clear to all of you all?
Yes, sir.
Students, once again, I'm reading the question, students. The question given to you is what? They've given to you is that as per the diagram, if we see, students, they've given to you a ball is projected from the ground. Are you getting it? At some angle with horizontal. Let us say that some angle is theta with the horizontal. These are its components. Okay. Coefficient of restitution between the ball and the ground is E. Now, when it strikes over here, between the ball and the ground is E. That's the coefficient of restitution is E. And this is the formula for E, students. So when I speak about, students, final velocity of the two and initial velocity, so what exactly we consider is, this is U1 is for the ball, U2 is for the wall, or sorry, the floor or the ground. Agreed? Final velocity, this is for the ground and this is for the ball. Do take care while you are using coefficient of restitution, students, in this case. Agreed? So now that's your coefficient of restitution we consider. It's hitting the surface we consider. Now they've given to you is what? Let A, B, C be the ratio of the times of flight. Students, A, B, C be the ratios. Be the ratios of time of flight, T1 by T2. B is the ratio of R1 by R2 and C be the ratio of H1 by H2 for the two given cases. Hope that is clear. With the ratios of time of flight, horizontal range, maximum height in two successive points, find the value of ABC in terms of E. यानी तुम्हें final answer सबका E में मिलेगा, students. Hope the question is now clear. Anyone? Okay. They've written in terms of theta. Sanjana, you can get rid of that theta part of it. You will simply get your relation in terms of coefficient of restitution E. So चलो सबसे पहले हम E निकालते हैं. Everyone. Sanjana, can you tell me how to go about with E since you are raising your hand? Can you get me the value of E? Only E.
So the value of the horizontal component always remains same u cos theta. So E would be applied for the vertical component.
Very good. Students, ये जो मैंने formulas मैंने clearly बोला students इसका horizontal component throughout remains same. यानी जो भी change हो रहा है ना students velocity का vertical ये देखो ना ये तो अगर मैंने u ले लिया students ये u sin theta है which everybody knows it. ये क्या होगा? Sorry, this is u cos theta and this is u sin theta along the vertical. Now when this body is going to hit over here, students, this is the line of impact we consider. This we consider is your u sin
Sin
theta
theta.
minus I. Sorry, minus j. Agreed? This is plus j. What about u cos theta? So u cos theta will be along I cap itself only. है ना? तो तुम्हारा कौन
Yes,
सा
sir.
चेंज हो रहा है? तुम्हारा कौन सा x एक्सिस का चेंज नहीं हो रहा, y एक्सिस का चेंज हो रहा है ना? अभी ये जो वेलोसिटी से ये हिट हो रहा है स्टूडेंट्स, so now does the wall will try to give an impact? Yes, but the wall is not in motion. So now what is the velocity after collision we consider is of the ball? Can you find out the velocity of the ball after collision along y-axis? ये कहाँ से मिलेगा? यहाँ से मिलेगा स्टूडेंट्स. यानी तुम्हारा coefficient of restitution with respect to y-axis होगा, not with respect to x-axis. Hope this part is clear to everybody. Students, ये question में और पहले के question में फर्क क्या था? अगर तुमने ध्यान से सुना होगा तो वहाँ पे भी students sphere was given with 2i and 2j. It was hitting the wall and then it got deviated. So over there also we found out the coefficient of restitution with respect to what? With respect to horizontal x-axis, because the y-axis का component was same. यहाँ पे तुम्हारा y-axis के हिसाब से change हो रहा है. Now Sanjana, can you give me the value of E? So E will be equal to what? V2 minus V1 upon U1 minus E2. So according to you, what exactly V2 is?
So V2,
Again, her voice is gone. Since V2 will be the final velocity of the
yeah,
ground.
not again.
0. Are you getting it? Sanjana, yes, are you there, Sanjana? Okay, she's not there. Final velocity after collision is 0, students. So that is 0. Are you getting it? V2 will be 0 minus. Do I need to find out the final velocity of the ball after collision? यानी मुझे ये चाहिए, students. ये मुझे चाहिए. I want to get this. तो ये तुम्हारा Vy है किसका? Ball का. कभी after collision. I want the formula for this. Are you getting it? Upon. What is the initial velocity with the ball which is striking the ground we consider is?
So
it's
U,
striking the ground along y-axis we consider. This is Uy. This is also Uy I'll consider. So that is Uy. Agreed.
UY minus
And is
U.
the direction downwards? Yes, it's along negative. क्या ये clear हुआ, students? What is the initial velocity of the ground? So the ground was always at rest. So now can you give me the answer for coefficient of restitution? The answer is in students. E cross multiplying minus Uy is equal to minus Vy. We consider negative sign will get cancelled. So what is the velocity of the ball after collision or the sphere after collision? EUY. क्या ये clear हुआ? Is this clear to all of y'all? The velocity of the body after collision, ये है students, is EUY. Students, is this much clear to all of y'all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The rest of the students? Soumya,
Yes,
is it
sir.
clear? Khyati, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Naina? Shreya, Sneha, what about you? Sneha and Suhani? Suhani has
Yes,
answered.
sir, clear.
Somebody has answered. Janani has answered. Okay, Janani, can you explain from here onwards now? Because Sanjana, she's not able to unmute herself. Janani, carry on from here. क्या करोगे अभी?
Sir, where were you?
I'm here only. I'm nowhere. Now continue from here onwards. I found out the formula for coefficient of restitution, and then from there I found out the final velocity of the sphere after hitting the ground. It's going vertically upwards with the speed of EUY.
So I have to give T1, T2, R1, R2, and H1, H2.
Yes, these formulas I want to give and the reason behind them. What is the formula for T1 in the first place?
So sir, T is equal to 2UY by G.
Why 2UY by G? Why not 2U sin theta by G? ui is u sin theta.
Yeah, ui is u sin theta. yes.
Now see one thing संजना ने पहला आंसर पोस्ट किया था वो सारे sin theta में लिखा हुआ था. Students, you can get rid of sin theta ना. चाहिए ही नहीं ना. तुम्हारा velocity along y-axis यहाँ पे u sin theta. Students, what is the velocity along y-axis? यहाँ पे
Y.
yes vy, that is equal to euy. That's what we have got it. तो यहाँ पे तुम्हारा देखो स्टूडेंट, तुम्हारा फॉर्मूला क्या है? 2u sin theta. तो u sin theta को मैं क्या लिख सकता हूँ? uy agreed upon g. तो तुम्हारा टाइम इन द फर्स्ट केस है. What exactly range in the first case?
So
Yes,
what
Janani,
you
बोलो.
did in the sin theta part, I didn't understand.
Sanjana, what is the formula for time of flight in the first case?
2u sin theta by g.
Okay, and what is u sin theta? It's the velocity of the sphere along x-axis or y-axis.
Y-axis.
So can I write down simply uy instead of u sin theta?
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
That's why, see, तुमने आंसर थीटा में दिया था. अभी थीटा
Yes,
को तो that's why you were getting slightly ratios में confusion आ रहा था. Please students, try to avoid the theta part of it, and you can do that. You can simply get it in terms of identical variables. Variables cancel होना चाहिए students. जब भी तुम ratio लगना तो तुम्हें identical variables मिलेंगे and they will get cancelled. And Janani has already posted the answer. T1 is equal to 2uy-g. Now, Janani, what about R1?
Sir,
R1
R is equal to 2ux into uy by g.
2ux and uy. ये कहाँ से आया? ये कहाँ से आया जनानी? कुछ भी?
Sir, she took the sin 2 theta as sin theta cos.
Why you are saying it? She knows it. She's smart. Sanjana, she's smart. हाँ,
Sorry,
बहुत
sir,
smart
sorry.
है. Friends, see, it's very easy. Formula यही है, देखो ना. यही formula को मैंने ये formula लिखा. Students, come on, let us solve this. R is equal to what? U square sin 2 theta. Students, what's the formula of sin 2 theta? 2 sin theta cos theta by g. तब इसको कैसे लिखा है मालूम है स्टूडेंट्स? 2 आगे लिखा है, u square को u sin theta लिखा है और फिर पीछे u cos theta लिखा है. Friends, u sin theta is the velocity along which axis? Y axis. U cos theta is the velocity along which axis? X axis. 2 आ गया divided by g. That's why she has written R1 as 2ux uy. क्या ये clear हुआ स्टूडेंट्स? Students, क्या ये clear हुआ? I'm speaking still for the first case. Students, मैंने किया क्या प्रॉब्लम में सब सिर्फ मैंने कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ रेस्टिट्यूशन लेते हुए मैंने बॉल जब हिट करेगा ग्राउंड को तो व्हाट इज द फाइनल वेलोसिटी ऑफ द बॉल आफ्टर कोलिजन वो मैंने फाइंड आउट किया. बस I've restricted myself over there. Then I jump back to my first case where the ball is undergoing a projection. Okay, so over there I'm trying to write down my T1, R1, H1, eliminating theta part of it. That means I'm trying to write down my answer in terms of uy. Because over here also I'm getting uy. Okay, what about h1?
Sir, h1 is uy square by 2g because both of them have squares. Like
Absolutely
plus
correct.
sin
Very
theta
good.
square.
So यहाँ पे देखो, what is the velocity along y-axis? U sin theta, and that is uy. So u square sin square theta means, can I say this is simply nothing but u square y we consider upon what exactly we consider will be 2g. So did you get the formula for T1, R1, H1 for the first case? Yes. Now can you answer for the second case? Now can you answer for the second case?
Sir, well, sir, it's nearly the same only. So the first one is EUY.
Mm-hmm.
The second
Why
one,
no, this is 2.
yes.
2 u sin theta. What is u sin theta? Students, what is u sin theta? Students, that's the velocity. जहाँ पे u sin theta होना students, वहाँ पे vy लो after collision. Everyone, please, when the sphere strikes and when it recoils, when it hits back, it moves. The component along y-axis is vy. So instead, vy is actually u sin theta. And what is the value of vy? euy. Please pay attention. ये u sin theta है, वो vy होगा after collision. So now if I want to put down T2, तो बोलेगा sir 2 instead of u sine theta, it is Vy. But what exactly of Vy is Euy. So can I say time in the second case will be 2 Vy, that is Euy divided by G. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Agreed. सेम वे यहाँ पे क्या होगा सर ये जो साइन थीटा होगा वो 2 साइन थीटा कॉस थीटा होगा और ये जो u स्क्वायर है वो u यहाँ पे भी आएगा यहाँ पे भी आएगा 2 तो वैसे ही रहेगा। तो मुझे बताओ स्टूडेंट्स ये जो 2u साइन थीटा है वो उसको हमने क्या पकड़ा था सर ये हमने vy पकड़ा था u cos थीटा सर वो तो ux है ही और वो तो चेंज नहीं हो रहा है u cos थीटा स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे भी चेंज नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ पे भी चेंज नहीं हो रहा है ना फर्स्ट केस और सेकंड केस दोनों केस में मैं वही रखूंगा लेकिन now if I want to write on my formula तो ये formula क्या हो जाएगा so this is 2 what is u sin theta v by what is v by euy what is u cos theta ux divided by can I say g क्या ये पार्ट क्लियर हुआ सबको Please, is this clear? If you don't get this, you will not be able to move ahead, students. Any confusion in this part, please speak it out right now. Later on at the end of the problem, you will say, sir, I haven't followed that. Right now itself only stop. This part, is it clear to all of you all? Time taken in the second case. So this is the vertical velocity along y-axis, and we found out the vertical velocity along y-axis, considering the coefficient of restitution only along that axis, and I got it as EUY. Students, is it clear? Yana, is it clear?
Yeah.
Abhi Yana, can you give me the answer for H2? चलो अपने आप से H2 का आंसर दे दो अभी. H2 कैसे लिखोगे तुम अभी? ये तुम्हारा फॉर्मूला.
Sir, we will substitute the value of v square as eu, the whole square.
Very good. See, this is u sin theta is Vy. So can I say this is Vy square upon 2g? And what is Vy?
It's euy.
So what exactly it will be? E
E
square
square, u square.
uy square upon 2g. Students, variables are very important. ये वापस तुम्हें रेशियो लेना है. अगर तुमने जरा भी गलती कर दी रेशियो वेरिएबल्स के अंदर, you will not get the correct answer. Now see, you have got all the variables. Did I get rid of theta? Yes, I've got rid of sin theta everywhere. Now take the ratio. I want ratio of T1 by T2. So what exactly is T1 by T2, students? T1 by T2 will be equal to 2uy upon g divided by this. So g ऊपर चला जाएगा 2euy. So now can I say g will get cancelled, uy also will get cancelled, 2 will get cancelled, students. This is 1 by e. ये ratio होगा 1 by e. What is R1 by R2 if I take it? Sir, R1 by R2 if I happen to take it. So this will be 2ux uy by g divided by this. So into g ऊपर चला जाएगा 2e ux uy. G gets cancelled 2x. So this is 1 by e. So this is 1 by e. I'll be getting it for the second case also. Third case, h1 by h2. Take the ratio. So h1 by h2, what am I going to get it? So it's u square y, sorry, u square y by 2g divided by this. So if I divided, what exactly will be? Into 2g upon e square uy square. 2g will get cancelled. Uy square, u square, so it's 1 by e square. So students, what is the relation of, what is the answer for A, B, and C? 1 by E, 1 by E, 1 by E square.
Sir, I took the ratio as T2 upon T1, R2 upon R1. It's okay.
Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But read the question carefully. Okay, they tell you to find out the ratio of the time period for the first and the second case. Now read the question carefully. That's all. अगर तुम्हें वो पूछा गया है तो you can go for the ratio. Doesn't matter. So students, is the question clear to all of you all? And students, such kind of questions can be expected for you. कि यहाँ पे तुम्हारा projectile का भी concept आ गया है, तो जहाँ पे तुमने projectile के भी equations use किए, कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ रेस्टिट्यूशन के भी, लेकिन ये तुम्हें ध्यान में रखना चाहिए कि कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ रेस्टिट्यूशन कहाँ की तरफ लोगे तुम, हॉरिजॉन्टल एक्सिस की तरफ लोगे या वर्टिकल एक्सिस की तरफ लोगे. तो तुम लोगे स्पीड along the horizontal axis will remain the same. The acceleration along x axis is always equal to 0. The vertical component will go on changing. Its velocity will go on changing along y axis. तभी जाके स्टूडेंट देखो ना, यहाँ पे ज्यादा बाउंस दिखाई दे रहा है, यहाँ पे कम बाउंस दिखाई दे रहा है. Are you getting it? Yes, students, is it clear to all of you all? Sanjana, acha, fine. You've taken the
Yes, sir.
course. Yeah, no, fine. Okay, what about the rest of them? Aditi joined in right now. Khyati, is it clear? Meera, what about
Yes,
you?
sir.
Naina? Om, what about you guys? What are you doing? Shreyash, Om, Parthi, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So earlier I had taken only u as the velocity instead of u sine theta. So I was getting the answer in sine theta.
I know that you got the answer initially, लेकिन तुमने sign में रखा.
Yes,
You
sir.
you didn't pick up in terms of variables. Okay, fine. What about Tisha, Swati? Suhan, is it clear with you now? Sneha, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sneha, what about you?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, Shona, what about you, Shona?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are laughing. Yana is not replying. Your friend is not replying at all.
Sir, I'm replying.
Okay, fine. Can I erase the students? इसको erase कर दूं मैं अभी?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now next question, sir. Please pay attention. Let's see who can get the answer for the students. So the question given to you is that a ball is flying. If you want, you can write down small statements for it, students. I'm just going to speak it out. I'm going to write on the data part of it, okay? A ball is flying, and this is, students, based on two collisions, okay? You can consider as oblique collision or an object when explodes, okay? A ball flying with a velocity u 500 meter per second. So students, they've said it, that is a ball which is flying with a velocity of 500 meter per second. Students, hope you get this. It's just flying. See the velocity, okay? It's very large. Okay, it's flying with a velocity of 500 meter per second. This ball, it bursts. Students, it bursts into 3 identical fragments. So this part bursts into 3 identical. Now you should know what exactly this means. 3 identical fragments. So that, listen carefully, students, so that kinetic energy of the system, please understand the words, so that kinetic energy of the system increases k times, increases k times. What maximum velocity can one of the fragment obtain? I want to find out maximum velocity of one of the fragment. That's my question. Students, my final answer should be for this. I want to find the maximum velocity of one of the fragment if the value of k is 1.5. If the value of k is 1.5. Hope you have got the question very clearly, students. I repeat, students, a ball is flying with a velocity of 500 meters per second. This ball bursts into 3 identical fragments. So that, please students, this is K, kinetic energy of the system likha hai, students. Kinetic energy of the system. Please understand this thing. Kinetic energy of the system increases K times find the maximum velocity of one of the fragment if K, small k, is 1.5. Hope this part is clear to all of you all. Is the question clear, students?
So can you repeat that case system of the part once again?
I repeat, kinetic energy. I made it very clear, students. System का मतलब क्या है? तो वापस मैं read करता हूँ, students. This ball burst into 3 identical fragments. Okay, उसके बाद में continuation यहाँ पे है. 3 identical fragments, so that kinetic energy of the system increases K times, where K is 1.5. Find out the maximum velocity of one of the fragments. Because it bursts into 3. तो तीनों में से एक सबसे ज्यादा वेलोसिटी से जाएगा, वो मुझे फाइंड आउट करना है. Hope the question is clear. Friends, is the question clear to all of you all?
Yes, sir.
Nothing. How to go about? First of all, students, you need to go for a diagram. I'm just waiting for another minute or two. If in case if one gives the diagram, it's well and good. If you can't give the diagram, then I'll explain you the diagram. And then after the diagram, just go on to your simple concepts of collisions or momentum conservation. We consider you can get your answer accordingly. Okay, can anybody tell me where exactly the 3 fragments will align themselves after the ball explodes? Anyone who can tell me what are the directions of the 3 fragments?
X, Y, and Z.
Mutually perpendicular.
Pardon?
So along the I caps X, Y, J.
Okay, now, okay, chalo. Now one more question. Students, when a given object is given to you, chances are, students, that object is breaking into 3 identical fragments. What exactly mean by the term identical fragments?
Having the same
Same
mass.
mass.
Having the same mass.
Okay, so can I say mass is constant of all 3? Agreed?
Yes, sir.
अब मुझे बताओ
sir.
ये 3 फ्रैगमेंट्स में से सबसे मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी वाला फ्रैगमेंट कौन से डायरेक्शन में जाएगा? वो तो बता सकते हो? उसका डायरेक्शन तुम सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो? Come on. Students?
They are opposite to the resultant of the other two.
opposite to the resultant of the other two, absolutely correct. But can you say that it will be in the direction of the ball where the ball was moving? Hi, Anna.
So, sir,
Yes,
along the
sir.
x direction.
स्टूडेंट्स एक सिंपल एग्जांपल प्रोजेक्टाइल का मोशन है या तुमने हेलीकॉप्टर की प्रॉब्लम की है स्टूडेंट्स एंड हेलीकॉप्टर इज ट्राइंग टू थ्रो अ गुड he is the helicopter throws a goods and now when the helicopter throws some parcel or a good from the helicopter in the direction of motion, what happens to the velocity will increase. Hi Anna, the resultant velocity will add up.
Yes.
Yes or no? प्लीज ये ध्यान में रखना, बॉल तुम्हारा इस तरफ जा रहा है स्टूडेंट्स, तो अगर बॉल इस तरफ जा रहा है तो ये अगर 3 फ्रैगमेंट्स में डिवाइड होगा, तो अगर एक फ्रैगमेंट जो इस तरफ जाएगा, लेट मी टेक दिस इज माय थर्ड फ्रैगमेंट स्टूडेंट्स, इट इज गोइंग विद मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी, तो इसकी वेलोसिटी सबसे ज्यादा होगी. इसका मास क्या है? लेट मी टेक दिस इज मास इज स्मॉल m itself only. Let us say the velocity of this will be, I'll consider v1 and that is maximum. ये मैक्सिमम होगा क्योंकि इसका डायरेक्शन इसके साथ में, ये 3 पार्ट में भी डिवाइड हो रहा है, ये एक पार्ट हो गया. अब बताओ बाकी की जो 2 पार्ट होंगे वो क्या होगा? 2 पार्ट क्या होंगे? नाउ यू सेड इट सर, ये जो है वेलोसिटी सर एक दूसरा आई जे में होगा. नहीं, अगर इफ आई हैपन टू गो फॉर दिस मैनर, कैन आई रिजॉल्व दिस? अगर ये वेलोसिटी को मैं रिजॉल्व करूंगा तो आई एम गेटिंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. आई कांट गेट इन दिस वे. देखो इसका मैं रेजोल्यूशन लिखूंगा तो आई कैन गेट इट इन दिस मैनर. I have to go for resolution of the other 3 should be what? Exactly the direction opposite. So ये जो maximum velocity मिलेगा students will be because of what? Because of the other 2 fragments students which are going to move in the direction and their components will be exactly in the direction opposite to the fragment going with maximum speed. यानी स्टूडेंट्स ये अगर तुम्हारा एक फ्रैगमेंट है जिसका वेलोसिटी v1 है, तो ये दूसरा फ्रैगमेंट यहां से पास होगा स्टूडेंट्स जिसका वेलोसिटी v2 है. It is forming an angle θ2 with the direction of motion. ये तुम्हारा मास है और ये है वेलोसिटी v3 which is forming an angle θ1 along the horizontal. Can I resolve this into 2 components? Yes. तो ये क्या होगा? So this is mv2 cos θ2. इसके लिए होगा mv3 cos θ3. Are they in the direction opposite to the momentum of the body moving the forward direction? Yes. ये क्या होगा? So ये दोनों क्या होगा? They are both in the opposite direction, equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. So I can equate the two in that case. ये equation क्या होगा? Students, ये equation होगा तुम्हारा m v2, ध्यान से सुना students, sin θ2 and that is equal to what? m v3 sin θ3. Is this part clear to all of you all? Students, is it clear to all of you all?
Yes.
Again, I repeat, students, the ball was moving with a speed of 500 meters per second. Okay, it broke into 3 fragments, identical fragments. That means all of three are of same mass, students. Okay, I want to find out one of the fragment going with maximum velocity. So to find out the maximum velocity of one of the fragment, it will be in the direction of motion of this. तो अगर ये एक फ्रैगमेंट इसके डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है तो बाकी 2 फ्रैगमेंट्स, फ्रेंड्स बाकी 2 फ्रैगमेंट्स कौन से डायरेक्शन में होने चाहिए? ऑपोजिट ना, लेकिन ऑपोजिट कैसे जाएंगे? वो तो diagonally means if I happen to go for it when it breaks, students, when the particle breaks, of course it will go at an angle incline because it's broken up into 2 parts. अगर suppose मैंने 2 fragments बोले होते ना, so अगर ये क्वेश्चन मैंने 2 फ्रैगमेंट के लिए बोला होता तो एक आगे जाता और दूसरा पीछे जाता. I getting it? I can't go for perpendicular. अगर suppose student ध्यान से सुनना, अगर मैंने perpendicular ले लिया होता, listen carefully, ये एक फ्रैगमेंट ऐसे जा रहा है, दूसरा फ्रैगमेंट अगर मैंने ऊपर की तरफ ले लिया, तीसरा मैंने तो इनके कंपोनेंट्स कहाँ पे होते हैं? इनके कंपोनेंट्स कहाँ पे जाते हैं? Do you find out any components? No. They will go in the opposite direction. They'll cancel out each other, students. They won't give enough thrust to this particular object. So how can this object will get maximum velocity? So I need to take their components. And how do I take their components? If this particle goes at an angle theta 2 with the horizontal. This particle I've taken at an angle theta 1 with the horizontal. Now look at the components of these two and the direction opposite. और ये दोनों equate होंगे, दोनों का masses are same. So can I say V2 sin theta 2 is equal to V3 sin theta 3? क्या ये part clear हुआ students? Is the diagram clear to all of you all? Is the diagram clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now can you solve? I want to find out maximum velocity. Now, one more part. What exactly this means? So that the kinetic energy of the system, students, what exactly the system includes? So the system includes all the three identical particles. समझ में आ रहा है? यानी students, kinetic energy final. Students, जब भी मैं law of conservation, sorry, when I speak about in case of collision, students, energy is conserved. The kinetic energy final of the system, यानी system का मतलब for all three. I get it? Is equal to K times what? Kinetic energy initial. Are you getting it, students? It's K times kinetic energy initial. क्या ये clear हुआ, students? Is this
Sir, can you
clear?
repeat once?
I repeat.
Kinetic energy part.
Students, kinetic energy of the system. See, a ball breaks into three identical fragments. A ball breaks into three identical fragments so that kinetic energy of the system includes without all three. It increases by how much? It increases by K times. K times what? The initial we consider. K times the initial kinetic energy. What exactly initial kinetic energy over here? Students, यहाँ पे अगर मैं equation लूँ, तो ये K क्या बन जाएगा? What exactly K becomes? So K becomes 3/2. I can consider. What is the initial kinetic energy? I'll consider in that case. So the initial kinetic energy will be equal to what? Half mu square. इसका मास क्या होगा? ध्यान से सुनना, इसका मास क्या होगा? सर ये m है, ये m है, ये m है, तो इसका मास 3m होगा. आया ना? हाँ स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes, sir.
तो इनिशियल काइनेटिक एनर्जी का मतलब क्या हुआ? हाफ तो आ गया. प्लीज एवरीबॉडी लिसन केयरफुली. हाफ आ गया. इसका मास क्या है? 3m. इसका स्पीड कितना है? इसका स्पीड कितना है? सर 500 स्क्वायर. ये पार्ट तुम्हारा इनिशियल हुआ. K की वैल्यू कितना है? 1.5, 3/2. What is this kinetic energy of the system? Kinetic energy of the system, what exactly? The system consists of what? One going in the forward direction, two going in the backward direction. Try to now get a relation over here. Solve this and get V1. क्या ये clear हुआ, students? Students, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
All of you all, all the students inside the group. Sneha, is it clear with you? Suhani?
Yes.
Yes.
Suhani, what about you? Fine. Sanjana?
Yes, sir.
Aditi? Parthvi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Umaya? Guys, what about y'all? Nobody's responding. Sparsh, what about you? Om, Udit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Janani, is it clear? Janani, I'm waiting for you.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Yana, what about you, Yana? Hi, Yana. Yana. Yana, do you know how exactly the propulsion of rocket is? Yana, are you there, Yana?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Okay, propulsion of rocket के लिए अगर rocket को मुझे ज़्यादा अपथ्रस्ट चाहिए या उसका speed gain होना चाहिए, है ना? ये rocket है और rocket का मुझे speed यहाँ पे ज़्यादा चाहिए, तो यहाँ पे तुम exhaust बिठाओगे, हाँ, gases के, या the exhaust will be at the nozzles, at the tail of the rocket.
It will be at the nozzle.
Tail of the rocket, है ना?
Yes.
So the mass of the gas will move with a certain velocity. I get it. So to every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
इक्वल इन मैग्नेट ऑपोजिट इन डायरेक्शन। तो जब भी अगर ये अगर एग्जॉस्ट टेल के यहाँ पे आ गया स्टूडेंट, तो कहने से ये एग्जॉस्ट की वजह से ये रॉकेट का प्रोपोर्शन की वेलोसिटी बढ़ती जाएगी, हाँ या ना? हाँ स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes.
तो अगर 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 ये एग्जॉस्ट की वजह से इसकी वेलोसिटी बढ़नी चाहिए, तो वैसे ही जब ये पूरा बॉल 3 पार्ट्स में ब्रेक होगा और एक फ्रैगमेंट की वेलोसिटी सबसे ज्यादा होनी चाहिए, तो वो फ्रैगमेंट का डायरेक्शन किस तरफ होना चाहिए? तो बट ऑफ कोर्स इसके डायरेक्शन में जाना चाहिए। तो जब भी मैं इसकी वेलोसिटी आगे की तरफ ले रहा हूं, तो बाकी लोगों की वेलोसिटी क्या होनी चाहिए? क्या होनी चाहिए? क्या होनी चाहिए? एग्जैक्टली इन द डायरेक्शन ऑपोजिट। तो अगर उनको ऑपोजिट चाहिए, तो जरूरी नहीं दे गोइंग इन द डायरेक्शन ऑपोजिट, दे कैन गो एट एन एंगल इंक्लाइन। और अगर ये तुम्हारा वेलोसिटी मैक्सिमम होगा, तो ये भी मैक्सिमम होगा। तो मैंने इसके कंपोनेंट्स ले लिए बस। अभी क्लियर हुआ स्टूडेंट्स हाउ टू गो अबाउट विद दिस?
Yes, sir.
Now I think I can get the answer, students. Students, the first condition, please pay attention now. The first condition, can I use law of conservation of linear momentum, students? Please pay attention, everybody. Okay. Now, students, it's simple calculations. It's simple physics now. You have to simply use law of conservation of linear momentum and kinetic energy correlation. Plus, you'll get the answer accordingly. You have to be very wisely using it, students. What is law of conservation of linear momentum? Students, what's the total momentum we consider as? I getting it? Total momentum क्या होगा before? तो बोलेंगे sir 3m into u.
3mv.
है ना? It's going with the velocity u. Let us say this is u 500. मैं पहले value नहीं डाल रहा students. I'm keeping it in terms of variable. So this is the initial momentum. What is the final momentum? Students, final momentum क्या
mv1.
होगा? ये mv1 तो आगे की तरफ जा रहा है, ये दोनों पीछे की तरफ जा रहा है, तो ये पॉजिटिव में लोगे या नेगेटिव में लोगे स्टूडेंट्स?
Negative.
Negative में.
वेक्टर है ना स्टूडेंट्स? लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम वेक्टर फॉर्म में है ना स्टूडेंट्स? मैंने वेक्टर के हिसाब से मैंने यहाँ पे डाला नहीं, लेकिन ये दोनों ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में होगा। तो ये देखो -m v2 cos θ2 -m v3 cos θ3। स्टूडेंट्स, क्या ये क्लियर हुआ सबको? हाँ स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes.
Yes.
नाउ कैन आई कैंसिल m? तो क्या हो जाएगा? 3u agreed is equal to v1 minus v2 cos θ2 minus v3 cos θ3. Agreed? मुझे चाहिए क्या? What I need to find out? सर आपको फाइनल वेलोसिटी, आपको ये चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स, आपका क्वेश्चन में आपको मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी ये चाहिए, मैक्स ये चाहिए। तो कैन आई मेक v1 इज माय सब्जेक्ट? तो अगर मैं v1 को सब्जेक्ट बना दूं, तो आई एम पुटिंग v1 ऑन टू वन साइड। व्हाट इज v1? सर रेस्ट ऑफ द टर्म्स को इस तरफ ले लो। आई गेटिंग इट? ध्यान से देखना स्टूडेंट्स। 3u plus v2 cos θ2 plus v3 cos θ3। क्या ये क्लियर हुआ इक्वेशन? Students, are you all getting it? First, I use law of conservation of linear momentum. What's the total momentum of the ball before exploding? Before exploding, what is the mass of the ball was? It was breaking into 3 equal identical fragments. The total mass was 3m. What is the speed of that ball? 500. So u. What is the momentum after it breaks? One of the ball goes in the forward direction with m is the mass and v1. The other two has their components in the backward direction. I have to go for this. ये तो क्या होगा? Equal and magnet opposite in direction हो गया। Students, क्या ये clear हुआ students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now I wrote this particular equation, mass को cancel करके मुझे b1 चाहिए। अभी students ध्यान से सुना। Now what is the maths you're going to involve over here? Students, थोड़ा बहुत maths और थोड़ा बहुत physics। तुम्हें सिर्फ अभी ये equation से साथ में खेलना है students। Now nothing is left in this question. अभी कुछ ज्यादा इसमें है नहीं सोचना। सोचना जो भी था वो ये डायग्राम के ऊपर था। Students, your entire hand goes with this diagram and this part. Now you have to simply look into the maths part of it. अगर students मुझे बताओ, अगर मुझे v1 maximum चाहिए, अगर मुझे v1 maximum चाहिए, so what is the value of θ2 and θ should be? Can I say 0 degree? Cos of 0 will be 1. है ना? आया ना? आया ना?
Yes, sir.
अगर वेलोसिटी मैक्सिमम, भाई मुझे मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी चाहिए ना, तो ये दोनों को मैं क्या लूंगा? 0. दैट मींस ध्यान से सुनना, प्रोबेबिलिटी यही होनी चाहिए। जब भी मैंने ये ना को एक्सप्लेन करने के टाइम पे मैंने क्या किया, व्हाट डिड आई टेल यू? जब भी रॉकेट आगे की तरफ जा रहा था स्टूडेंट, रॉकेट आगे की तरफ जा रहा था, तो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई सेड इट? आई सेड इट दैट एग्जॉस्ट किस तरफ होगा? Where exactly the exhaust is going to be? The exhaust will be exactly in the direction opposite. यानी स्टूडेंट्स ये मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी लेने के लिए मुझे दोनों की वेलोसिटी इसी डायरेक्शन में लेनी थी, इसी डायरेक्शन में लेनी थी, लेकिन जरूरी नहीं है। हम अगर ये डायरेक्शन में तो उनके कंपोनेंट, स्टूडेंट्स द बेस्ट पॉसिबिलिटी इज व्हाट? वी नीड टू गो फॉर अ कंपोनेंट। Aditi, no my dear, it's 1000. Answer is 1000, not 1. I need to go for its component. तभी जाके मुझे ये हॉरिजॉन्टल कंपोनेंट मैंने लिया है और दोनों की वैल्यू। अभी देखो θ2 अगर मैंने इक्वल टू θ3 ले लिया, दोनों की थीटा वैल्यू सेम है, तो कहना है v2 विल बी इक्वल टू v3। स्टूडेंट्स दोनों की वैल्यू अगर मैंने सेम ले ली इक्वल टू 0, तो कहना है v2 इज इक्वल टू v3। तो कहना है पुट v2 इक्वल टू v3 एज सिंपली एज v। हाँ स्टूडेंट्स, कहना है सब्स्टिट्यूट बैक हो भैया। तो क्या इक्वेशन में जो मिलेगा? v1 is equal to 3u, cos of 0 will be 1, cos of 0 will be 1, v2 and v3 are exactly same, तो कहना है on this as 2v। स्टूडेंट्स क्या ये इक्वेशन क्लियर हुआ सबको? हाँ स्टूडेंट्स, are you all getting it? For v1 to be maximum, θ2 should be 0, θ3 should be 0, cos of 0 will be 1, cos of 0 will be 1 in this case. So v2 plus v3. But can I take v2 equal to v3? If I take the thetas to be same in this case, I can equate the two velocities. If θ2 is equal to θ3, I can equate the two velocities also. So that is equal to v. क्या ये equation clear हुआ? Then only I'll proceed, students. क्या ये clear हुआ everyone? All the students inside the group.
Yes, sir.
Shreyas, what about you? Soumya, Udit, Tisha, Swati, Shona, Vidhi, Gauri, Sparsh. I'm just speaking out names.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Yana, what about you, Yana?
Yes.
Okay, Suhani, clear, same clear. Sanjana, what about you? Pathvi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aditi has answered a word. Aditi ने आंसर दिया क्या वो पहला वाला? Aditi लेट आई है स्टूडेंट्स, जानबूझ के लेट आई, and she is giving the answer. Aditi तुम्हारा आंसर सही नहीं है, 1000 आई। Okay,
Yes,
students,
sir. I'm
तुम्हारा
checking the calculation.
yeah, you got the first equation, students. Agreed. Now can you tell me, students, answer sir now. Can you tell me what is the final velocity of the two bodies which is in the backward direction? तो अगर मैं v को subject बना दूं students, तो v क्या होगा? So what exactly v? v1 minus 3u the whole upon 2. Agreed. Now go back to this equation. अभी देखो ये तुम्हें तो वो इक्वेशन मिला, अभी यहाँ पे ले लो, अभी तुम्हारे यहाँ पे बस यहाँ पे आके तुम अटक गए। Now you can't do anything further. Now you have to go back to this. This is what you given information. Students, kinetic energy of the system is equal to k times initial. Students, k times initial दे दिया है students. So how do you go about with this? Students, तो देखो kinetic energy of the system consisting of all three students. Are you getting it? So what exactly you consider? Please pay attention. ये आगे की तरफ जा रहा है. Please, I'm putting this one, students. Kinetic energy of the system. ये वाला पहले डाल रहा हूँ मैं. System consisting of all the three particles. तो इसका kinetic energy क्या होगा? इसका kinetic energy होगा students, ध्यान से देखना अभी. Half m v1 square plus इन दोनों की velocity अभी मैं v ले सकता हूँ. Students, can I take this as V? Why not? So it is twice half mv square. क्या ये clear हुआ? This is for system, which is equal to small k times initial kinetic energy. And what is initial kinetic energy? Half. What is the mass? M and 500 square. Sorry, M and 500 square. अभी ये इक्वेशन क्लियर हुआ स्टूडेंट्स? तभी जाके स्टूडेंट्स, अगर ये दोनों की काइनेटिक एनर्जी चाहिए होगी तो मुझे V2 और V3 में मिल देती ना। उसको देखो, मैंने रूल आउट कर दिया, मैंने V में लिख दिया। स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट इज V? V2 is equal to V3 is equal to V. And what is V? V1 minus 3U/2. मुझे V1 चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स, मुझे ये नहीं पता, लेकिन do I need to find out V1? हाँ सर, V1 चाहिए। Is U given to me? हाँ सर, 500 दिया। Now see students, can I say this is a linear equation? So this is a linear equation in how many unknowns? How many unknowns? So this is a linear equation only in one unknown. So now it's pure maths over here, no more physics involved. What is an unknown quantity over here? So you need to find out V1. यहाँ पे ये स्क्वायर करोगे तो यहाँ पे भी V1 स्क्वायर की वैल्यू निकालोगे तुम। बाकी सब कुछ दिया है, हाँ दिया है। मास यहाँ पे, मास यहाँ पे, मास यहाँ पे, तीनों में मास तो कैंसिल हो जाएगा। Now can you solve this maths and get me the answer for V1 student? क्या ये क्लियर हुआ स्टूडेंट्स?
Yes.
And what is the small k? So small k is 1.5, यानी इसको 3/2 ले लो। तो इसको 3/2 ले लो। अगर तुमने 3/2 ले लिया, in that case this is 1.5, 3/2, you can solve and get the answer accordingly. ये 2 और 2 कैंसिल हो जाएगा। या तुम यहाँ पे हाफ निकालो बाहर स्टूडेंट्स, ये हाफ बाहर निकालो, हाफ कैंसिल तीनों में हो रहा है। देखो स्टूडेंट्स, अगर तुम चाहो तो स्टूडेंट्स ये देखो, ये हाफ m, ये हाफ m, एग्रीड, 2 into half m into v square, ये पूरा मल्टीप्लाई हो रहा है, एग्रीड, और ये हाफ into m, that also will get cancelled. Try to solve and get me the answer for v1 चाहिए मुझे, I want v1. Please everybody solve and get me the answer. So students, now you should understand whenever you get such kind of questions, students, मैंने ये question क्यों उठाया? What is the reason behind it? Because students, you didn't knew it करके कि how the particles are going after explosion. तो स्टूडेंट्स, सबसे प्रोबेबिलिटी ये लेती है कि तुम्हें पार्टिकल्स पीछे की तरफ ही लेना चाहिए, लेकिन जरूरी नहीं है कि पार्टिकल्स पीछे की तरफ जाएंगे, दे माइट गो डायगोनली, तो उनके कंपोनेंट ले लो। और यहाँ पे अगर मेरे को Vmax चाहिए तो ये दोनों एंगल 0 होने जरूरी है, यानी these two angles are exactly same. I can consider them. So the corresponding velocities also I'll take it to be same. ये एक टाइप का हमने assumption ले लिया स्टूडेंट्स. Without that, you can't proceed with your problem. And over here, I got the relation of the velocities of the two bodies, which are two particles which are going in the backward direction. I need to find out V1. Go back to your main equation, which is given over here, substitute and get the answer. Students, hope this is clear to all of you all.
Yes.
Please, when you're trying to redo it, इसको practice करना वापस students. और हमेशा ये ध्यान में रखना कि कोई भी मैक्सिमम वेलोसिटी बोले तो उसके मोशन के डायरेक्शन में होना चाहिए। उसका वेलोसिटी और बढ़ाने के लिए हमें पीछे की तरफ ही वेलोसिटी चाहिए। हाँ, फिर वो कंडीशन देंगे स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे वैसे भी कंडीशन होंगे कि ये पार्टिकल अगर टूटता है तो एक ऊपर जाता है, दूसरा नीचे जाता है और तीसरे सामने, तो अलग बात है। हेलो, तो अलग बात है, क्योंकि वहां पे कंडीशन दी हुई है भाई। एक आगे जा रहा है, एक ऊपर जा रहा है, एक नीचे जा रहा है, तो ऊपर और नीचे जाने वाला तो ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में हो गया, उनको तो लेने की जरूरत नहीं, आगे वाला लेना है। या वो पार्टिकल टूटेगा, उसमें से दो डायगोनली जाते हैं और एक इस तरफ गया, दैट इज हाउ इट गोस। लेकिन जब ये दिया ही नहीं है कहाँ की तरफ जा रहा है, सिर्फ ये पूछा है कि एक की वेलोसिटी मैक्सिमम है, इसका डायरेक्शन मिल गया, तो बाकी दोनों का तो उनका कंपोनेंट ही लेना चाहिए प्रोपल्शन ऑफ रॉकेट के हिसाब से।
So the final velocity would be 1000 meter per second.
Absolutely correct, 1000 meter per second. Students, that is purely maths, huh? And don't expect me to do that maths part of it. You should be able to get it. अगर तुम्हें ये नहीं मिलेगा, that is really a worst part of it. So अगर तुम ये नहीं solve कर सकोगे, it's very bad. I'll make the equation much more easier, students. If in case if I happen to go for this, students, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, सारी जगह पे मैं half m को cancel कर देता हूँ, students. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा, मेरा v1 square और एक easy equation में दे रहा हूँ, students. I'll get v1 square, okay, plus 2 v square ले लेता हूँ इसके लिए, half m मैंने cancel कर दिया, students, is equal to half m मैंने cancel कर दिया 3k
3k use.
बस अभी देखो इतना easy equation हो गया. अभी v1 मुझे चाहिए, इसको मैं सब्स्टिट्यूट नहीं करूंगा, लेकिन ये जो v है इसके ऊपर तुम्हें ध्यान देना है. अगर तुम चाहो तो पहले इसको देखो, ये v1 स्क्वायर आ गया प्लस 2, ये जो v स्क्वायर है दिस विल बी v1 minus 3u the whole square upon 2 square, that will be 4, and that will be equal to 3. K is 1.5 into, इसको तुम u स्क्वायर में रखो स्टूडेंट्स, वापस फिर u को सेपरेट कर लेना. Take the LCM and then solve it accordingly. ये cancel होगा, 2 2s are 4. Take the LCM. I'm getting it. Make v1 as a subject. U के terms को अलग ले, and you'll get the answer accordingly. The answer for v1 you'll be getting is how much, students?
1000 meters.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I erase this now? Students, in which PDF you are having doubts? कौन से PDF में doubts है तुम्हारे?
So mostly in the second one.
Which one?
The second one, that one you sent after
You are-
the
Center of mass के या circular motion के?
center of
The
mass.
center of mass.
Center of mass का, तो can one of you all forward to me that, because I don't know where exactly PDF is. And when I exam students, on Sunday or on Saturday?
Saturday.
And when are my lectures?
So we don't know about next week.
Oh, fine.
Sir, I have some doubts from the DPT also, uniform circular motion.
Okay, so that you can send it to me. Send it to me on what?
Sir, the message doesn't reach you on the.
Why? It
I
reaches.
don't know.
जनानी के मैसेज आते हैं, मेरे को सब पार्थवी के मैसेजेस आते हैं.
Sir, the number which you send link on that only, on that number only a message, but it doesn't reach only.
Okay. You have both the numbers because the other phone is not working. One of the phone is not working properly in that case.
No, sir, the number which you send the links.
Okay. Send it onto the other phone then. Send onto the other phone. The
Okay, sir,
previous
I'll send today.
old one. The students, for this particular chapter, it's now only a few more questions. We'll be just solving problems onto the students. Okay, the chapter is it's completed, students. This part is, because the last part was the collision part of it. And now when you look into the chapter, students, further you have simply exercise questions. And in this also, students, exercise also, if you try to do first 30 problems is more than enough. No need to go beyond that, and certain solve questions also. Again, whatever problems what we have done with students and whatever the theory part you have gone through it, and after every exercise, students, there is some note given over here. You need to remember this very clearly. Put down into your books accordingly, and that will really help you out to solve the questions properly. But as such, for your NEET point of view, CUM and system of particles is not, because its applications is used in rotational dynamics. The students, next lecture ki andar, whenever it is, I'll still throw some more problems onto the students. Okay. And we'll start with a new topic also simultaneously, students. Okay. I'll speak to Ganesh Prasad accordingly and we'll be going further. Students, क्या मैं इसको erase कर दूं?
Yes.
So are you coming for the offline lectures?
Now, I don't know about it, when exactly the offline lectures are pathway. And you stay at Kharghar, isn't it, pathway?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sir, what
So,
about Mira Road?
Mira Road, I don't know about it, but you all have started our students Mira Road में शुरू कर दिया ना तुम लोगों ने offline?
Yes, sir.
So just एक ही class हुआ था but
हमारा भी सर सिर्फ एक ही क्लास हुआ था GOC का.
So mostly
हमारा
शायद
भी JUS.
okay. So mostly next coming week से होगा students. और शायद ये सिर्फ अभी तो Feb 2nd से वापस शुरू कर रहे हैं ना college also. So yes, hopefully होगा. And party over there also. Okay, hopefully it will be there. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Can I erase this, students? इसको erase कर दो.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, Pathvi told me to come all the way to Kharghar. The other group told me to come to Mira Road, but Shona and the Sangyana didn't tell me to come at Tiki Bhatia. See, this is the problem. See. Shona, don't laugh. Shona is there or she left the
No,
meeting.
not there, sir.
Okay. You and your friend doesn't want me to come to Tiki Bhatia.
We don't want, sir. Yesterday only we had IUPSC. We want offline classes. Totally.
Okay.
We don't like online.
Okay. स्पर्श ने एक बहुत बड़ा यहाँ पे न्यूज थ्रो कर दिया यार.